Am I the asshole for leaving my friend group chat after being left out at a wedding? I, 23F, am being called petty and immature for trying to leave my friends group chat after my feelings were hurt. I have a very large friend group that hangs out all together a couple times a year. We have a large group chat which we use regularly to share memories and photos. As I mentioned, it's a very large group, about 18 people. As such, obviously we aren't all equally close. Some of the connections between people in the group is mainly mutual friends. However, we do all generally go to the same parties. Well, one of the people in this group was getting married, and although we've known each other for a couple of years now, I'm not close friends with her. I suspected I wouldn't get an invite to her wedding because she said it was more of a low-key event and I knew she didn't have a lot to spend on it. When it came time to send out her invitations, I received a call from one of our mutual friends whom we are both close with. My friend wanted to tell me that the bride felt really awful about it but that she couldn't invite me to the wedding because of limited space. I immediately reached out to her and let her know that there were no hard feelings and that weddings were stressful enough. I did feel a little bad about not being invited, but I also assumed that there were other people in our friend group receiving similar calls. Well, as it turned out, I was completely wrong. This weekend my group chat blew up with pictures from the wedding, and while I was looking through them I realized that I had been the only one who didn't receive an invite. What was worse was that everyone who had a significant other has gotten a +1. Even my friend who had started dating his girlfriend after I was told they couldn't invite me. I was so embarrassed. I've been very insecure about friendships the majority of my life because I've had multiple people upgrade to someone more popular than me. So I suppose because of this I got upset and decided I didn't want to be a part of the entire group anymore, and I left the group chat. That's when my friends started reaching out to me asking why I had left. Some of them were understanding, but my best friend told me that it looks really bratty and petty. Now I'm feeling bad because I really didn't want to put a damper on their wedding joy, but being excluded really hurt my feelings. So now I'm worrying. Am I in the wrong? Edit. I did not expect any more than 3 responses on this, so reading all of the comments is a little overwhelming. I just wanted to clarify a few things. 1. I have hung out with the bride and her husband numerous times before, as well as house sit and pet sat for them. I don't think the couple meant anything malicious towards me by not inviting me, as we had always gotten along before. 2. Like I said, I wasn't expecting an invitation, but I also wish the bride hadn't made our friend tell me that I couldn't be invited due to space limitations. Seeing as though that people were invited after all the seats were supposedly filled. I also didn't even need to have a reason to not be invited. It just felt like a weird thing to me that she felt the need to say that she was really upset about not being able to have me come. Would I still have felt left out if she had said nothing to me about it? Yes, of course, but I would have understood. Like I said, we're friends but not close friends. I just wish she didn't go the extra mile and make it seem like I would have gotten an invite, if only. 3. I don't know everyone's individual relationship with each other, but I do know that some of my friends were surprised they had gotten an invite. Personally, I'm not close to them, but I would still call them friends. 4. Not all of my friends knew that I wasn't invited. They only found out after they went to the wedding. 5. I saw a lot of comments saying that it would be kind of ridiculous to start a whole new group chat to share pictures in, especially when not everyone knew the whole story. I think everyone's right about that, but it still felt weird that that's how I found out I was the only one not invited. Ultimately, I wish I hadn't left the group chat the way I did. I probably could have just quietly left afterwards when it wasn't so obvious why. It did feel childish on my end, but after reflecting on it, how long was this giant group going to last anyways? I don't have any ill will towards the bride or groom, and I'm sure they didn't think it would upset me. However, in the heat of the moment I was embarrassed and felt like I had been played. I also have spoken to my best friend today and she didn't know the whole story. She hadn't known that the bride had asked one of our other friends to tell me I wasn't invited. She thought I wasn't even aware that there was a wedding. My friend is a little spacey, so I know she didn't remember when I had asked for help finding a gift for their engagement party. Also, finally, because I know I'm a wordy person, I'm really very sorry to hear that these situations are a lot more common than you'd think. I hope you all find the friends and the people who were meant to be in your life and make it a good time. Not the asshole. Out of 17 people, 16 and a bunch of their +1s were invited? Miss me with whatever mind game bullshit going on there. You're better off without them. People who expect you to swallow this kind of disrespect for group cohesion are really just trying to make you feel bad for having any guts. You stood up for yourself, you're a fucking legend right now. Stick with the friends that reached out with concern, drop the rest. Not the asshole. To exclude 1 out of 18 friends is pretty shitty of her. You have a right to feel however you feel. It is not bratty or petty. NTA. Tell her she's being inconsiderate by disregarding your feelings on the matter. It's fucked up that they'd invite a large number of your friends group but not you. They didn't feel the need to include you, and this seems intentional. Why would you want to be around people that will try to downplay a valid response to a slight? Am I the asshole for getting mad at my sister for coming to a family dinner with her baby? I, 32 male, am engaged to Jessie, 30 female. We have been together for 7 years and have been trying for a baby for the past 2. Originally I was planning to propose to her during a family dinner at a Michelin star restaurant, so I paid for 12 people to be there including hers and mine families. I made the booking nearly 10 months ago. However, plans have changed and instead I have proposed during one of our holidays as the time felt more right. 2 months before the dinner we found out that Jessie is pregnant. I was beyond happy to hear that, so we have decided to use the dinner to announce the pregnancy instead, alongside with taking about wedding preparations. The place is rather high-end, so it has a strict dress code and set of rules to follow. Dinner was yesterday. My sister Emily decided to bring my nephew Kit with her, who is still breastfed and is currently teething. He is 6 months old. So instead of celebrating Jessie's pregnancy, a lot of people were feeling uncomfortable due to my nephew crying nearly constantly, and the owner of the restaurant at some point asked us to leave since kids were not allowed and my nephew was disturbing other guests. I had no choice but to ask Emily to leave. She was hesitant at first, however I have reminded her of the rules of the place, and in no way or form she contacted me to ask if it would be okay to bring Kit with her. She has tried to defend herself, saying he is young, but her boyfriend, who is also the father, could have stayed with Kit, since he finishes work at 4. I have also told Emily how disappointed I was with what she did, as she ruined the dinner by bringing Kit in the place not made for kids. Emily didn't like that and left. The rest of the dinner went okayish, but I could feel the tension. Later that night my mum and my aunt wasn't present as she lives quite far away and can't really travel. Both called me to tell that what I did was an asshole move, and Emily is now upset and I need to apologize. Jessie is upset too, but because she felt like everyone paid attention to Kit and were trying to calm him down, instead of congratulating us or discussing the wedding, what the dinner was about. So am I the asshole? Edit. People seem to miss out that the meal took place in high-end restaurant that didn't allow children under 14 and which I have also paid for. The family members were sent a set of rules from he place alongside. They knew there would be an announcement. My future brother-in-law and my other brother also have young children which they didn't bring, and hired a babysitter, asked a friend to look after. So they were aware the place doesn't allow young children. If kids aren't allowed in the restaurant, legal? I dunno, and you told her this ahead of time, then you are not the asshole. Not the asshole. Unpopular opinion, but time and place. High-end restaurants are not for small children. As a former waitress in such an establishment, most staff do not appreciate it as there is a very particular ambiance. If the child is still being breastfed, she should have sat it out, to be honest. I know everyone thinks that their kids are the exception, or they themselves are, but they're not. It's literally the same level awe move as someone bringing a screaming kid to a film. Not the asshole. You gave Emily the rules that no children were allowed, and she brought her baby anyway. That's just rude. You said the owner asked her to leave. Why did you have to ask her to go also? Did she ignore him or her? Am I the asshole for refusing to change bikinis? I'll start by saying that where I live, not US, is rather hot at the moment and is pool party season. My grandparents own a house with a big pool, and so, weekly or bi-weekly, my family gather to just have fun and swim. My grandparents don't mind since they don't really do anything besides offer the house. We all cook, buy snacks, get the place ready and then clean. 2 years ago my sister married his now husband, who happens to be one of my exes. At first I was horrified because they began to date pretty quickly, but now, I don't mind. We don't interact much, never have. So at previous gatherings we would just be in on our business, not really caring for the other. She's usually with our cousins and our parents while I'm with our grandparents and some aunts, uncles. Her husband, whom I'll call Mike, is always there of course, but we don't talk to each other. She's pregnant, 26 weeks. Last Sunday we were getting the garden ready when she came to me and asked me to change. I was already wearing my bikini with a C-trough dress over it. It was a normal one. But I have bigger boobs than her and she was fuming. I asked if I had something or what and she said, no, but I'm pregnant and I don't feel my best. I don't want Mike looking at you. I was confused and looked at Mike who was playing with one of my cousin not really paying attention. I said she didn't really had to worry about Mike but this made her angrier, and told me to not act like we were buddies and go change. I said, sorry, no, I won't change. She said I was trying to get her husband attention and I actually laughed because what the fuck. I said that if it bothered her so much she should have thought of that before getting with my ex. My grandpa got in the middle and told us to stop. He told my sister I wasn't changing and he asked me to say sorry for my last comment. I did and she wasn't happy. Later on my mom came to me with another bikini and told me to go change but I just decided to go home and it caused my grandpa to scold both my sister and mom for making his house a hostile environment. And now they're both mad at me because I should just have change. Am I the asshole? NTA Your grandpa was 100% accurate. Not the asshole. Your grandpa was even on your side, so don't worry too much about it. It's obvious that your sister is insecure, since she started dating your ex a little bit after you broke up. Maybe she thinks that he's dating her 'cause you both look similar? Her insecurities increase during pregnancy, but that doesn't mean that she can act like an asshole and expect you to change in a pool party that wasn't even in her house. Am I the asshole for telling daughter I'm disappointed in her and won't take her out to a second restaurant? My daughters 14 and 16 are on the same dance team. Their team won a competition on Sunday, and we were all so excited and proud of them. After the competition, my dad suggested we go out to eat and said he would pay for wherever we wanted. Older daughter, who loves seafood, has been asking for years to go to a restaurant that has unlimited crab legs, but it's a very pricey restaurant, so we've never been able to. She immediately suggested this restaurant. My dad liked the suggestion. My younger daughter suggested we go to her favorite restaurant, a local Mexican restaurant, instead. We've been there many times, as it's much more affordable. Knowing this would be a wasted opportunity, I said older daughter's suggestion made more sense because it was somewhere we'd never been. Younger daughter complained she wouldn't like anything there, but I assured her the menu would have more than crab legs. We got there, and sure enough, there were many dishes that didn't have seafood, including steak, youngest's favorite. Even though there were dishes without seafood, youngest daughter said she wasn't hungry because the restaurant smelled weird. I ordered her steak anyway. Younger daughter pouted throughout the meal. She picked at her steak. Older daughter was very happy, and completely absorbed in the crab legs. My mom tried to talk to my younger daughter about the competition, but she wasn't responsive. At the end of the meal, we were all stuffed except for youngest. My dad told everyone to pick a dessert to go, except for youngest because she's clearly not hungry. I asked my dad to leave her alone, and he did, but she was already upset. When we got home, I tried to talk to her. I explained that this was a rare opportunity and sometimes we need to let someone else have something nice. I told her I could have taken us to the Mexican restaurant this weekend. She said it's not the same, because the restaurant we go to the night of the competition is special, and we went somewhere she didn't like. I pointed out that she didn't know she didn't like it because she didn't try it. She said I know she hates seafood and that the restaurant is known for its seafood, so of course she wouldn't want to go there after a special event. She was annoyed all Monday and Tuesday but started to mellow on Wednesday. This morning she asked if we are going to the Mexican restaurant tomorrow. I said not this week because of her behavior, but we'll see next week. She wasn't happy. Am I being too hard on her? I think she was very rude to her grandparents, but I know when you're a teenager everything feels like a bigger deal than it is. Should I have just let her behavior slide and taken her to the Mexican restaurant? Not the asshole. You're teaching her a valuable lesson here. Too many people seem to have the mentality of, when I am done being angry and move on, you all have to as well. As though her mood improving absolves her of any accountability for her actions while being pissy. A classic tactic in my house growing up. Not the asshole. Being part of a family means sometimes, lots of times, doing something because it's what someone else really wants to do. Try. And, as I seem to learn the hard way all too often, rewarding sulky, petulant behavior for the short-term victory always comes back to bite you as a parent. I'd hold firm on no consolation trip to the Mexican restaurant really that now too. Now, they're both on the dance team, and younger daughter should get to feel like she's being celebrated too, so maybe next time there's a family treat it's her choice, since older daughter made the pick this time.